This woman was hung from a tree by her elbows while this militiaman who had tortured her filmed her. This is just one of the many cases happening in Sudan right now. Women, regardless of age, are getting tortured and killed amidst the civil war. Even 1-year-old children unspared. In one case, a nurse was abducted, forced to treat injured soldiers before she was gang by 13 of them the following day. And if you're wondering why no one is helping them, well, they tried. But husbands and fathers who attempt to stop the abuse get rifles pointed in their faces. And this 11-year-old boy who tried to help his mother was beaten to death by a soldier. Many SA survivors have identified the RSF soldiers as the perpetrators. So who exactly are the RSF? The civil war in Sudan broke out in 2023 because the SAF and RSF were fighting against each other. The SAF is led by Burhan, the head of state, while the RSF is led by Hemeti, originally his deputy. How these two came into power is a whole other complex issue itself, but essentially they're engaged in a power struggle. While the damage both sides have done can't be denied, many are pointing at the RSF for the violence against women. This isn't the first time either. The head of the RSF was previously involved in the Janjaweed conflict and also accused of war crimes including torturing and killing civilians. Are we witnessing history repeat itself? There is so much more to what's happening in Sudan, but as of now, the country is also grappling with multiple disease outbreaks. 3.4 million children under the age of 5 are at high risk of epidemic diseases. But what do you do when you can't even get to medical resources, food and water without worrying about your physical safety? More needs to be said and done for Sudan, and
that saying this could get me killed or detained, but I no longer care. I would rather die as a hero and a brave person than live as a coward. The Rapid Support Militia are a tribal genocidal militia that is aided and funded by the UAE to plunder Sudan's resources as they kill and loot and ethnically cleanse the Sudanese people. This militia has no place in Sudan's future. We, the Sudanese, will never accept coexistence with this entity. The international community is not guilt-free. They still have not classified the RSF as a terror support organization. And I wonder why. Because so far they have committed every crime against humanity. They have violated the international law and the international humanitarian law. I have been displaced 4 times by this militia. They have killed my family. They have raped women. And they are currently ethnically cleansing people in West Sudan. And they are also forcibly starving people. So my message to the world, those people have been paid millions so they can claim their name and, create this fancy propaganda. I want you to know that no matter what you hear and see, never forget that the RSF are a tribal, genocidal militia that has been ethnically cleansing and killing the Sudanese people and raping and looting and starving and forcibly displacing people. Never, ever forget that.
So let me explain this in simple terms. The UAE is backing, supplying and propping up the RSF, the militia that is committing a genocide in Sudan. The UAE wants the Sudanese gold. This is all about money and profit and theft and mass murder. The UAE makes $46 billion a year in revenue from tourism, and $32 billion of that money comes from international visitors to the UAE. So it's very, very clear what we must do. We must boycott the UAE. We must not book our holidays to the UAE. We must hurt them in their pockets. If they are affected through tourism, they will not have the money.
السلام عليكم. وجهت وجهي للذي فطر السماوات والأرض حنيفا وما أنا من المشركين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري وأحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. سودان سودان سودان، الله أكبر، ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. It's heartbreaking what's coming out of Sudan since 2023. It's absolutely horrific. I am praying for Sudanese people to overcome this tragedy. It's absolutely, we are seeing it. The entire world is seeing it. It's just so painful to see this. And it's another story of African natural resources and wealth um, being, blotted, being plotted to be extracted and looted by hidden hands, the foreign hidden hands. And the victims are always Africans. Victims, we are always, as an Africans, we are the victims of our own natural wealth. This has to end. This has to end. Yes, UAE is majorly involved, but I would not only mention UAE, I would also mention the Zionist power structure that controls the entire Western Hemisphere. You have to remember this guy Hamidit. I think I pronounced that right. His full name I think is Muhammad Hamdan Delgado or something like that. Muhammad Hamdan or Hamidit is the guy who actually in charge of the RSF, and he was propped and created and by the former president Bashir. And Bashir was major chaos creator for the Western Empire and the Zionist Empire. But he was able to maintain the stability and the law and order of Sudan. To somehow he was able to keep Sudanese people, not all of Sudanese, of course, as we know. Some of the Sudanese were always being ravaged and mass murder and mass raped, but at least there was some sort of governance that was stable in Sudan, in Khartoum especially. But however, after he created RSF, they turned on him because guess what? RSF is exactly the Hamidid guy, is the kind of guy that the Western Empire love. He is psychopathic, he is ruthless, he is a murderer, and this is the kind of guy they love for Africans. Okay, what Hamidid or Muhammad Hamdan done was he turned on his own, the guy who actually gave him, who actually gave him the power, who gave him the RSF, who named him as a general for the RSF. And there is a say in Somali: if you digging a hole, make sure you don't dig it too deep. You might fall in it. So this is exactly what happened in this case. But anyway, we know is the CIA and the Zionist power structure behind this whole entire dilemma, and they are the one who actually always orchestrate the coup that RSF carried out, and RSF was also used, if you remember, the Yemeni-Saudi war. So they are paramilitary that are actually working for the interests of the empire. Now, I want to say this, but I don't know. But I don't know if it's going to make any difference at this point because remember, they mentioned 7 countries they want to take them out, including Sudan, Somalia, Syria, Libya, Iraq, Yemen, and Iran. They already accomplished so far all of them except Iran. And make no mistake, this is the Zionist power structure plan to completely destroy every nation that was supporting the Palestinian cause. And they wreak havoc of this country. UAE involvement here is very much so reminiscent of what the UAE is doing in the Somali coast as well. I don't know if you guys remember the guy by the name of Prince, Prince something, I forgot his full name. But anyway, this is a major American guy who actually created the Blackwater paramilitary group that actually started this whole UAE involvement in African recolonization or looting the resources was initiated by this guy and working with the Emiratis or the UAE, and he's the one who actually gave them the encouragement to start moving and becoming like the face of recolonization of Africans' resources. And this is coming orchestrated and plotted by the Western power structure, always and forever. Yes, UAE are involved. They are to be blamed. Also, people are not talking about Saudi Arabia is involved. Basically, the Gulf Arabia, it's the protector of the USA since US petrodollar. And it's the US military is quite involved in this, and the CIA. But who are the major hands behind this? These are the Zionist power structure. Always is the Zionist power structure. They want to not only destroy these 7 countries, but because Somalia and Sudan are very much so significant in terms of natural resources, and also strategically located on the Red Sea, and Somalia has the longest coast on African continent. So this will create more chaos, because now if you have this war happening in Sudan and it's wreaking havoc, it will also destabilize Egyptian national security. And this is part of the Israeli Greater Project. Israeli Greater Project, remember, they want to expand from the Nile all the way to Euphrates River to Iraq. So, and part of the northern part of Saudi Arabia and the entire country of Jordan, they want to take the entire northern part of the Middle East, basically. So what we're witnessing right now, it's horrific. They want to turn Africa into, unfortunately, place where people come in and normalize natural resources being looted and land grab, and by force. I mean, by force. This week, we all can see this. So pray for Sudan, but also pray for Africa. And people need to start seeing the bigger picture. Assalamu alaikum.